You're watching KREX News.
Thank you for watching the KREX News Week in Review. I'm Chad Roderick. Now, a lone gray wolf was recently spotted on the east side of Montrose County. Colorado reintroduced wolves into the state after a statute was passed in 2020. The law has caused much controversy in the western slope. Alex Vera was in Montrose and got reaction to the wolf sighting.
As far as the wolf reintroduction, I think it's the most ignorant thing I've ever heard of.
That was Montrose resident Vicki Benson, who disagrees with Proposition 114 that was passed back in 2020, which reintroduced wolves into the state in December 2023.
They kidnapped them, they took them from their territory, they took them from their families, and moved them to a place where they have no idea where they are. Now they're trying to get home, and everybody's having a fit because they saw one in Montrose County. Well, big deal. The thing's headed home.
Colorado Parks and Wildlife captured wolves from British Columbia, Canada, and partnered with the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife to reintroduce wolves to the ecosystem since they were eradicated from Colorado in the mid-1940s. Stella Strand, another Montrose County resident, commented on the sighting, saying taking wolves from Oregon to Colorado is wrong.
Taking them out of their natural habitat and then bringing them to another place that they're not familiar with, I think that's just cruel to them.
Supporter of the reintroduction, Chris Bonebrick, lives in Telluride. He says wolves are a part of the ecosystem and welcomes them back.
Absolutely. I believe that they're part of the ecosystem, and I'd like to hear from some biologists about how they do, in fact, help the ecosystem.
CPW tracks wolf movement using radio collars to confirm the wolf sighting in Montrose. CPW states the animal made movements from the northern part of Gunnison County into the southern part of the county before spotted in Montrose. CPW says large movements are expected as the wolves explore their new surroundings. In an emailed statement to our newsroom, CPW states that field staff are in ongoing communication with local agricultural producers, local government officials, and law enforcement partners regarding the presence of wolves in their areas, and will continue to collaborate on ways to minimize the risk of depredation. An activity map of the wolf's location is published on the fourth Wednesday of every month. A link to that can be found on our website, westernslopenow.com. Alex Rivero, KREX News.
Delta County also reported spotting a gray wolf. Residents are reminded to fill out a wolf sighting form that can be found on our website, westernslopenow.com. And this week, Mesa County Commissioners and Sheriff Todd Rowell publicly asked that Governor Jared Polis veto a controversial gun bill that's been sitting on the governor's desk. But that came to no avail. The governor signing Senate Bill 003 into law. As a result, starting in August of 2026, you'll need to have a permit and firearm safety training before you can buy a semi-automatic gun that accepts a detachable magazine. The new law also prevents rapid-fire devices, things like bump stocks, from being sold. It won't affect any currently owned firearms and won't impact the sale of shotguns or semi-automatic weapons with fixed magazines.
But for folks who haven't had any gun safety training, it's very important that they get that. And this bill will make sure that people will get that education on how to operate the weapons safely, and just as important, how to store them safely as well.
Earlier in the day, before the governor signed the bill into law, Sheriff Todd Rowell issued a lengthy statement about what the passage of the bill would mean, saying in part, quote, "This bill has completely changed since it was introduced. It's gone from a ban on specified weapons to an egregious permit process. I'm asking you to veto this bill, send it back to Congress, have them redraft it with input from stakeholders that are on the front line of crime and violence in our communities, and have them bring it back next year." And measles continues to spread, and we now have 3 confirmed cases here in Colorado. Texas reached more than 500 confirmed cases, and we know 3 people have died nationwide from measles since January. The 3rd confirmed case in Colorado was announced in Pagosa Springs yesterday afternoon. People who were at Wolf Creek ski area from March 28th through 30th may have been exposed. People who were at Pagosa Medical Group on March 31st or April 2nd may also be at risk. Now, Colorado health experts say it's not likely the 3 cases in Colorado are related.
And at this point, based on the information we have, it does not appear that these cases are linked, meaning that we don't believe these cases overlapped in time or space. So we don't believe that one case led to another. So because of that, we don't yet meet outbreak criteria.
Symptoms typically take 7 to 21 days to develop. Those include fever, cough, runny nose, and a rash. Also, Mesa County Public Health notes that while there aren't any measles cases here, they are ready to handle any if they arise. And a lot of change is coming to the Grand Junction City Council. The results of the municipal elections are bringing new faces in new places. Jeff Hinkle talked to all 3 of the new city council members and has more.
After the municipal elections on Tuesday, the city of Grand Junction has elected 3 new people to serve on the city council. Let's get to know the stories behind Laurel Cole, Ben Van Dyke, and Robert Ballard. A small business owner, a nonprofit executive director, and an information security worker at Alpine Bank. What do each of these people have in common? Well, in the near future, they'll all serve on the Grand Junction City Council. Let's start out with Ben Van Dyke, a 4th-generation Grand Junction native that has been waiting for the opportunity to help serve the community he grew up in.
Growing up in Grand Junction and running around on these streets, one of the biggest things I've talked about in my campaign has been making sure that my children have a similar Grand Junction to grow up in as I did. And having a little bit of ability to help guide that forward is huge to me, and I'm really excited for the opportunity.
Van Dyke's professional background will bring a new opinion on fiscal policies within the city, and he hopes to bring his ideas to the dais.
I'm a small business owner, so fiscal responsibility is very important to me. I think we really have to look at the budget and our decision-making process and really look at the projects that we want to do and decide if this is something we really need right now or need at all or need in the future.
Laurel Cole is the executive director for Habitat for Humanity of Mesa County, and while she's only been in the city for a couple years, the opportunity to be herself on council is what she's excited to bring to the dais.
I'm going to be myself, and that was who I presented during my campaign, and that's who I'm going to bring to the table. And so I'm excited, and I'm excited to see where we can go in the next few years.
Cole was the only candidate to run unopposed, so her experience was a little different than the rest.
For me, it was a little bit nerve-wracking because knowing that I would be elected, but not knowing who else would be elected, made it a little bit of a different journey where, I think other candidates are like, I'm going to give it my best go, and if I don't get in, I don't get in. But knowing you're going to be in makes you look at things a little differently.
She really stressed the importance of using existing community resources as one of her goals and hopes that the new council finds innovative ways to use them. And lastly, Robert Ballard. He beat incumbent Randall Wrights in his race, something he describes as a tough hill to get over.
I was the underdog in this, and the community really came out and showed their support and showed this is what they wanted.
His goal is to give the community more feedback into what's going on in the city.
People wanted somebody to listen to them, and that's what I want to provide.
City Council was never really in the cards for Ballard, but he said that a vote of support from his community helped him make the leap to public service.
I had no plans whatsoever to run for City Council, but as I said throughout my entire campaign, my community came out in force asking me to run for this seat.
These new council members are going to have to go through 16 hours of training before they're sworn in on May 5th in a special ceremony. Jeff Hinkle, KREX.
The new council members said that with this big of a turnover rate in council, there might be some small growing pains here and there as they get adjusted to their new roles. But it's normal to have change, especially in local government. Now, in other news, the district attorney's office held a luncheon for Crime Victims' Rights Week. Every year during Crime Victims' Rights Week, the district attorney's office chooses a crime to honor the victims of. This year, the DA's office is celebrating kinship as a part of the week.
Kinship is really the idea that you're looking out for the people that are most important to you, that you consider the closest to you, making sure you're there for them to help them heal, to help them get through whatever difficult processes they're going through.
Sergeant Ross Young, who worked on the case, says kinship was vital in making sure the case went smoothly.
I think that having, especially the child in this case, having the support that they did made a complete difference in the outcome of this case. If we didn't have that kinship support from the very beginning, I don't think this case would have been as successful as it was.
Crime Victims' Rights Week is April 6th through the 12th of this year. And Colorado lawmakers in Washington are pushing for more wildfire mitigation efforts here in Colorado and across the country. Now, Senator John Hickenlooper introduced the Fix Our Forests Act, which aims to improve forest management, support fire-safe building practice, and make it easier to approve projects that protect communities from wildfires. Hickenlooper says the bill is a response to rising wildfire risks and drought conditions in the Southwest. If you've driven through the roundabout at 12th Street and Horizon Drive, you've definitely looked at the big white building under construction. That building is the Temple of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, commonly nicknamed the Mormon Church. After almost 3 years of construction, they've announced an open house date. The temple is a sacred building for Latter-day Saints and is not often open to members of the public. However, the church is inviting the public to attend the open house from Thursday, September 11th to Saturday, September 27th, excluding Sundays. It will be the only time that the entire community will be able to enter the building. The Grand Junction, Colorado Temple will be the 209th operating temple around the globe for the church. The Grand Junction, Colorado Temple will also be the third temple built in Colorado, following the Denver, Colorado Temple in 1986 and the Fort Collins, Colorado Temple in 2016. And in other news, Breeze Airways is bringing back its popular seasonal nonstop service between Grand Junction Regional Airport and Santa Ana, based in Orange County, California. As of Thursday, direct flights will operate on Thursdays and Sundays. And that does it for the KREX News Week in Review. Stay tuned next Friday for a recap of all your weekly news in Western Colorado.